Hey everybody, welcome back to the Carryandcut YouTube channel. And if you're new here, I really do appreciate you stopping by and watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, also leave a comment down below. It really does help out the channel, and I love reaching out to everybody out there and talking in the comment section. So before we get into this thing, I wanted to give a huge shout out to one of our subscribers, Aaron. He sent this Zarok sharpener over to us to actually to have. So he had an extra one. He sent this one over to us, and it has been a game changer for me in my sharpening journey, I guess you could say. Something like this, I guess we're gonna do a review of this thing, and it's a really good entryway into the more higher end of sharpening, I guess you could say. So I started from a Lansky sharpening system, so it was a guided system also, something kind of very rudimentary version of this, I guess you could say. So it had your same kind of 1/2 inch by 6 inch long stones, but you held it in your hand and it was just kind of wonky. Of course, you could get a base for it, but they were kind of pricey. And they just had your normal kind of basic like Arkansas type stone set. There was no no diamonds, no nothing like that. And it worked somewhat decently until you get to like your S30Vs and steels like that. It just kind of really struggled with it, of course, because they're not diamond abrasives. And then from there, I went on to the Worksharp Precision, or the Worksharp Precision Adjust, something like this model. If you guys have been watching me for a little bit of time, you've seen me use this one. And I did a whole lot of sharpenings on this for pretty much a year exclusive. This is what I used. So really cool. It works very good too. Of course, that's the same kind of 6 inch by 1/2 inch stones. And our good buddy, the lanyard man, Steven, he sent over the upgrade kit for that thing, and it made a world of difference. And I put some super nice edges on some stuff, on some nice with that one right there. So this ProTech PT Plus, it has a Worksharp edge on it, and it is nice and crisp, super shiny, but not quite a mirror or anything like that. And of course, you can produce a mirror edge with something like this if you have the correct stones for it. But then that kind of moves us on to this Zarok right here. So I've had this one for probably getting close to a month now, and I'm really enjoying it. There really isn't much of a downfall, but the stone set that they originally give you, they give you 3 stones. So you have a 320 grit, an 800 grit, and then a 2000 grit. So that's a pretty wide variety, pretty wide range. And of course, you can get on Amazon and you can buy kind of the full spectrum. I think you can even get like a 10 stone set for like $40. So that's like average out to $4 per stone, which is honestly pretty good. They might not be the best quality things in the world, but you could probably get 10 to 15 sharpenings out of them. I'm not saying go ahead and do that, but if that's what your budget allows and you're interested in it, then I would definitely say go for it. Of course, you can get into the any 6x1 stones, so whether that be the PDT, the Poltava stones, the Veneves, any of those really fancy name brand high-end stones, and they're going to do a really good job for you. So that's your diamond matrix or your resin bonded diamond stones, or any just any sort of crazy stuff like that. And of course, those do get very expensive, but you can just get some like some TS Prof diamond plate sets for like the 5-piece set for like $100, and I feel like that would be a really good place to start. But I have 2 knives here to put on this thing, and so we can really see the difference of what's going on here. This edge was actually put on by the Worksharp too. So this is the TRM Holy Nerd, and it does of course, a fantastic job being a super small little knife, but it's a very hand-feeling one also. Love the MagnaCut blade on it. It's just about 2 inches of blade length on this thing, but it does a super good job. And yeah, awesome little profile, but it has a heck of an edge on it. And of course, last time we had this fixed blade out, we were actually reprofiling it to I think we had to set it 20 degrees, and we were using the Zarok here to get down and reprofile this thing. So that was my last kind of rendition here, but I just wanted to show them the different variations you can sharpen between this tiny little knife that's pretty much the size of the length of this blade versus something like this you can still use on the same sharpener here. So I would do say one thing that you should get is definitely be one of these digital angle guides. Digital angle gauge is actually what it's called. This is going to be a big deal when you're actually setting this thing up. There is some sort of there's no numbers on it, but it kind of tells you. So whatever that be, boning, or I don't even know what you would call that. Big chef's knife, another chef knife, outdoor, boning fillet knives, and then you're like a razor. So you could kind of, tell your angles from that, I guess you could say. There's a whole bunch of different angle adjustments you can make. Of course, you loosen this clamp on the back right here. So that's on this back side. You loosen that, and the whole base, so what your knife is being held with, is going to be going up and down as you go. So there's a whole bunch of angle adjustment there. And then also you can adjust the height of your rod at the same time. So you can really do a whole bunch of different stuff. So that's why this angle gauge is going to be so, important when you're actually coming to do this right here. And some people might not like this 2-clamp setup. I know this is pretty much a direct, I don't want to say clone of a TS Prof system, like a TS Prof Cadet, but it's very similar, and a lot of the parts that you can get on the TS Prof website actually do and will fit on this knife, this sharpener right here. So why don't we go ahead, I'll show you guys how this thing works. We'll go ahead and put this TRM hole inert in there. This is how I like to set it up for smaller knives. So these clamps just come right out of the back like so. They have these knurled pins that insert right into the back there. So we'll go ahead and throw him on this side. I like to run it pretty much as far as I can get over. We'll go ahead and just start the thread and get him as far as we can. All right, and the same thing with this one. We're just going to go ahead and give a tiny little bit of room in between. All right, then they give you this Allen wrench. I'm not sure the size of the Allen there. All right, and then so something even as small as this, you can still put here in the clamp and do a pretty good job. And I have not ran into any problems with, your distal tapered blades. So if you're talking about your Spydercos, your PM2, Para 3, Sage, all those different models, of course, they have distal taper. And sometimes when you're using the Worksharp Precision Adjust or any of the Worksharp ones, they're going to have less clamping force out here and more clamping force up towards the actual spine of the blade because it's thicker here, thinner as it goes down to the edge. Something like this, and you can kind of separate that that load, if you will. You could have a whole bunch of clamping force up here on the thicker part, and then down here, of course, you can have a thinner, you can clamp that down. So there's really no, no side-to-side play, no shifting. And this base is just way more sturdy and substantial than something like that Worksharp, though. I'm definitely not dogging on the Worksharp, though. That is a super good, nice, high-quality sharpener that, you can do a lot of knives and a pretty reasonable amount of price right there, too. So, all right, so this is, so we have the knife on there. I'm not going to really do a sharpening with it. This thing still has a wicked edge on it, but we're just going to go ahead and put the stone on there. So any, 6x1 stone will fit on this thing. You just pull it back, spring-loaded, and go ahead and lock down your rod holders. And this is where, I like to, of course, get my Expo marker, Sharpie, whatever else, mark my blade, see where I'm at. But this is how we're going to go ahead and set this thing up. So we have our angle finder here. We're going to put, it's kind of going to be hard for you guys to even see if you can. See if I can get you guys in the angle finder there. So let's go ahead and zero this thing out on the actual stone, with the stone resting on the edge of the blade. So that's going to find whatever angle that we're sitting at right now. And then we're going to set, so right there, we're at 23.6 degrees. So if we want to sharpen at, say, I don't know, I like to go typically around 17 is where I like to be on most of my pocket knives nowadays. So I'm going to run that up to like 16 and a half or so. And then once you lock this thing down, of course, this is not a super fancy, high-tech gadget here. But as you tighten this up and everything kind of settles down to where it likes to be, see there, we're up to 17.5. So maybe if we go down to, if we could rock it right at 16 and a half, 16.4, pretty close. Okay, right there, we're at 17.3, so really close to 17 degrees. And then this is how you actually flip it, just like your other, any other standard, knife sharpener, whatever you want to say, Worksharp, flips are the same way. So 17.3, 17.4, not too bad. So that's only 0.1, a tenth of a variation of angle, and that's pretty great right there. So that's how I like to set up, at least set up my knives right there for sharpening, and that gives you a pretty good example. I also did bring out the Pink Lady eraser right here. This thing works pretty well for cleaning your diamond stones. Of course, you can use water and soap and whatever else, whatever kind of lubricant you want to. I'm not going to say that excuse me, you have to do that, but I normally cut with my diamond stones dry. Not really sure why. It's just something I started to do a long time ago. Of course, it does keep the dust down when you are using lubrication on your stones, but I don't think it is the most crucial thing in the world to do. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, not sure. Everybody has their own opinion. If you prefer to use water when you're sharpening, feel free to leave in the comment section why, and I will definitely, I think I'm going to try it one of these days. So let's go ahead and set this thing up for this bigger knife. I would like to, you know, kind of keep rocking and rolling of where I left off on this thing. So right there, we're a little too wide already. I've sharpened my wife's 10-inch chef knives on this sharpener here, and it does it in no problem whatsoever. One thing I will say, though, when you get up to these really thick blade stocks, this is getting right about 3/16. It's a super thick blade, and you're almost out of stroke on your bolt right there. So when you go to sharpen, or when you go to tighten, you really have to get that thing loosened up. And sometimes it might even want to fall out of the, well, your bolt come out before it even engaging any of the threads. So that's one thing. You're not going to be able to put, like, you know, even though I hope you guys don't have a more than a 1/4 inch thick knife that you're going to be sharpening, that will be one thing that you might struggle with. So okay, so we have the knife in there like so. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a test run here. Let's go ahead and throw a little bit of Expo marker is definitely not the best thing to use. I'm going to say your Sharpies work way better. We're going to go ahead and reset our angle to right around 20 degrees. But my little ones took off with all my Sharpie markers, which is always a bad sign. So I don't have any of them with me. All right, so let's go ahead and set our rod on the stone, on the knife, zero it out. And so right there, we are already at 0. All right, put our angle guide up here on the blade, or on the holder itself, sharpener itself. Let's go ahead and run this thing down to 20. Let's go to 20.5. Right there's 26, 20.7, 20.5, and then we'll go ahead and tighten this thing down. Let's go to 19.5. 19.4. All right. 19.4. There we go. We're right at 20 degrees. 20.1. So that's going to be pretty good for what we got going on here. And of course, everybody has their own sharpening method, sharpening style, whether you want to do, you know, fast pulls like this, if you want to just, you know, come down on it. I like to start at the heel of the blade and work my way to the tip and just keep on going like that until you find yourself having a burr. And then of course this is not going to be a full-blown sharpening how-to, anything like that. This is just a you know, a review of the sharpener and show you guys how to set it up and how to use this thing. I didn't even say the price yet. You can find these on Amazon for right around $100. Some might be under, some might be over. This is the Zarok Gen 3 fixed angle knife sharpener. So super good. I really do like this product versus something like that, of course. And then you can upgrade your stone set, and then I feel like this is really all you need. You could get a nice, you know, solid piece of wood, whether it be a, you know, like a 2x2 foot cutting board or something like that. You can run some self tappers down into that and some hardware, and this thing would be, you know, super stable. It's already stable how it is. This knife weighs over a pound almost, and there's really no movement and nothing like that. So really good. I think the quality is there. Of course, there's probably some things that could be improved upon, but at the same time, you can't dog it too much for what you're getting, you know, versus the TS Profs that are over $500. Something like this for the $100 price range is going to be really good for the end consumer, and, you know, just not your crazy high-end pocket knife guy, just a, you know, everyday person that's really getting into the hobby, wants something to be able to take care of their knives and put a good edge on it. This is going to be the way to go, in my opinion. Unless you have the expendable money and you can just go ahead and buy the $500 sharpener, this is going to be a really good way to get you into taking care of your own pocket knives, and or just any sort of knife that you have in your you know, kitchen, pantry, whatever you have. So like I said, I just like to go ahead and keep running on over till we get a burr, and then we just go ahead and loosen that clamp up in the back, flip, and you're going to just go ahead and rinse, repeat the same process. So I really hope you guys like this one. If you have any questions or comments, leave down in the comment section below. I will have this thing linked down in the comment section. I'm not an affiliate of them by any stretch of the imagination. I just like their product and want to share with you guys. So hopefully you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.